So in today's video, we're going to be restoring this engine again. You're probably looking at this thing and being like, what the heck happened here? So I restored this engine, and then not long after I restored it, I was doing one of my live streams, and I put it on the track, and I turned up the power, and the engine would rev up, but the locomotive wouldn't move forward. I thought this was because of a gear being misplaced, and it turned out it was not. It turned out that the little gear, which goes over the motor shaft there, this was slipping. So I opened it up, and I found out what the problem was. I just put a little bit of crazy glue over the top, and lo and behold, it started working again. So I was kind of excited. I put it on the track, and I'm turning up the power, the engine's going quicker and quicker, and then I hear this terrible grinding noise. The engine comes to a halt, and then I was just like, okay, that didn't sound good. So I opened it up, and sure enough, the pivot is gone. This is the exact same problem that happened on my Tyco Royal Blue. This is the second engine it's happened on, and according to Dirty Dan, who works on a lot of these old Tycos, this is a very common problem. I guess this just wasn't made thick enough to hold up, a gear, which actually has quite a bit of torque, against it. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's the problem. In today's video, I'm going to try to come up with a solution for this problem, because honestly, I bet there is a way to fix this permanently. Now, the first thing I did was go over to my workbench where I have tons of little boxes of nails and screws, mostly from dollar stores, and I've just picked these up over the years. So I started opening up boxes of nails to see if I could find something to replace the pivot. And the first box I opened up had a nail which looked to be around the right size, and lo and behold, it actually fit. And it's free enough that the gear can turn without too much resistance, but not so loose that the gear can spin off kilter. Perfect solution. So, now that we've found something that can be the new pivot, we just need to make somewhere for the pivot to go. So that's where the old pivot used to be, and we have to Dremel it out. So to do that, we're going to use this drill bit. I believe this is the kind that is the 1 out of 16, in case you want to do this yourself. I don't know if this is the correct size, I'm just guessing. Hopefully it is. It looks similarly sized, so I guess we'll just have to go at it and hope it works. Now, unfortunately, this has to be somewhat accurate, because if it's not, this won't work. So it needs to be in the middle, and I need to make sure that I get the drill bit to go in straight, because if it goes in at an angle, it's going to screw the gear up quite a bit. So this bit's crucial, so I'm just going to... As you can see, I've got it off a little bit, so I need to kind of compensate by going back over to where I was in the beginning. And we're in. Now, here's the hole that I Dremeled out. I kind of botched the job up a little bit, unfortunately. So if you try to do this, try to do it more accurate than I did, but unfortunately I've already done this, so I can't really go back on it. Hopefully it will be okay. Beggars can't be choosers. So you're probably wondering at this point, SMT, how do you cut down this thing? Well, I don't know either. All I do know is that the pliers, they've got the cutty bits. So we're gonna try cutting this through. I'm gonna point it away because I don't want this to fly in my eye. And, well, that seemed to get rid of it. Now we just need to cut it to length, which is, well, preferably about the length it was before. I'm not sure how much that matters. Good. And now, just like so, we've got our new pivot. And, we may have to sand this to get it to, oh, no, there we go. So there's our new pivot, and it should, in theory, go in like that. And we'll solidify it with some crazy glue, and then it will hopefully reenact the role that the previous pivot did. Now I'm going to try to do this bit in real time. I've got my crazy glue right here, and I'm just going to put a nice blob right there. I'm going to take this toothpick, run it through the blob, and then I'm going to get, a good drop of it. I want it to be nicely coated around the inside there. We're going to take our pivot and simply pop it in where the old pivot used to go. make sure that it's in as far as it can go. And now we're going to take this one more time and just put a nice little bit, just let that wick around the edge. And hopefully that will secure it enough that it will be able to hold the gear. So we're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and hopefully when we're done, this will be back to normal. So it's been about 10 minutes later. I'm not sure if you can tell, but this is completely solidified. It's not moving anywhere. So this might just work. Well, it's now kind of the moment of truth. We'll see if this all fits together. There's our new pivot, and we're gonna try sticking this gear over it. Yeah, the gear went on. It seems to be somewhat straight. Okay, so now that we know that gear went on, we can put the gear which goes below it on. And then we take our first gear and you get the side with the teeth to go on again. So it's turning that gear. And we just need to know the crucial thing. We put the very little gear, which goes over the motor on, will it all mesh together? Well, folks, it would appear that the gears are all locked in together, so I guess it worked. This little gear is not on perfectly, but I suspect that that might just be because I put crazy glue off at the top. Now, if I remove that, it might just go over as far as it's supposed to. Okay, so I got the crazy glue, or super glue I should say, out of the gear. Now hopefully let's see if it will go on properly now. What I'm going to try to do is just put it on the edge here, make sure that the weight is on there, and then I'm going to try pushing on the motor shaft, and well, it would appear, folks, that I got that on. Now, like I said, the whole reason I went troubleshooting in the first place for this locomotive was because of the gears. So now I just need to apply a bit of crazy glue. Unfortunately, it appears my crazy glue tube has sealed itself shut. You know, leave it to a company that's so confident in its product it doesn't want you to use it. Oh, is this gonna go spewing out everywhere? Nope. Okay. Now, just as before, I'm going to take my little thumbtack and just get a little bit of glue on there, a nice drop. And the idea is that it will wick down onto the gear and seal it. There we go. Anyways, let's start reassembling the locomotive. There we go. Now I need to resolder this on, because as you guys can see, I also broke the wiring off. And evidently this too. These things are tough to work on sometimes. Getting the wiring ready. I'm going to try doing something a bit differently, which is this time I'm going to hook this wire up. And as you can see, I've made them one wire instead of two different wires, and this just comes back. Yes, I did accidentally break the light fixture out. I'll have to apply that back in some kind of adhesive. But anyways, this shouldn't make a difference what way I mount it up, because lights don't care which direction of power you put through them. Good. Now, this is a little bit important right here, because even though it doesn't matter which way we wire up the light, it does matter which way we connect the wires, because this wire comes up from the back truck. So if we hook it up to this lower tab, which hooks up to the frame, we will have a short circuit. So we need to make sure that we hook it up to the upper tab, and the other wire from it goes to the lower tab. If you want to do this bit yourself, back wire to the upper tab, other one to the lower tab. light fixture wires don't matter which way they go. Now, I might have just made a bit of a big mistake. I realized I didn't put either of these clips on any of those. Tip for anybody doing this themselves, put these on before soldering the wires. Luckily, I didn't have to unsolder this wire because the light disconnects from the thing that holds it, so I only had to disconnect one wire, which is better than disconnecting both, but obviously would be optimal if you didn't have to disconnect any wires while doing this. And if I was smart enough to think in advance, I wouldn't have to be doing this right now, but we learned from our mistakes, I suppose. Another thing too, we have to make sure that we get the truck to go this way, because if we have, basically on these Tycos, each truck conducts from a different side, and if you don't fix that up, then you're going to have a problem, because if you have both sets of wheels on the same side, then the locomotive can't take in any type of power. So here's our locomotive back together. Let's go test it. So we have got her on the track. Now let's test this thing. I really hope damn well that it works, because we've put a lot of effort into trying to fix it. Hey, arugula, arugula, victory music. Yeah, look at her go. It sounds so healthy. Oh, there it goes derailing. But you guys saw this thing was running. Let's run her again. Let's check to make sure that we have got both directions, because gears can be funny sometimes. Wow. This thing is doing just fine. Amazing, so I guess there is a solution to the gear problem. Hopefully, at some point in the near future, we can do the same thing to my Tyco Royal Blue. See, the crazy thing too, it's not only running as well as it did before the pivot broke, it's actually running better, because I think the metal that the new pivot is made out of is actually a higher quality and is a bit smoother for that gear to go around, so it's actually improved the locomotive's power output. So, absolute success. I'm so happy that we got my old SP Sharpnose back and running again. Well, that's it for today's video, folks. I hope this helped one of you guys out there who maybe has a similar problem. I'm really excited because, you know, a solution, you can apply this to any other Tyco locomotive because they all pretty much have the same interior. And yeah, this thing's even more powerful, so we can run, hopefully, actual trains with it.